not a game, it's a rich thing.
What is up, guys? Today, here on Blitz Sports Media, I'm going to be giving my, I guess we'll call it most recent iteration of my mock draft. This is probably mock draft 13.0 at this point, but here at Blitz, we wanted to give you guys some draft content. No free agency wells, running a little bit dry, not really a whole lot of moves happening. We did get Jameis to the New York Giants today, but I wanted to go ahead and do my mock draft. We're going to be doing it on PFF. So we're gonna go ahead and control all teams. Public board versus PFF board. I tend to think the public knows a little bit less than PFF. Will weigh it a little bit more in PFF's favor. Care for positional value. I think that matters a good bit, but not all the way. So we'll put that right here. Draft for needs. We'll back that up a little bit because a lot of teams I think are going to take best available, and then randomness. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We're controlling this, but here we go. Mock draft, and we're gonna start draft. Titans, they're gonna keep their pick. They're going with Cam Ward here. I truly do believe. And just to let you guys know, I'm going to be looking at some of these team needs that PFF has because I can't think of the glaring hole on all 32 teams right this moment. There'll be some teams where it's no brainer, and I know exactly what it is that they need. But right here is the first one that I think you can make a debate on. You could say that the Browns are going to go Shedeur Sanders. I don't think so. I think they're going to go for a Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins veteran this year. Maybe a guy later on in the draft. Did see that they're having a top 30 visit with Tyler Shuck, which that's not going to be the pick at 2. I really do think with them securing Myles Garrett, that pulls them away from Abdul Carter, and they go with Travis Hunter at the number 2 pick. Travis Hunter to the Cleveland Browns to join Jerry Jeudy on the offensive end, and then Denzel Ward on the defensive end in the secondary. I hope he gets to my Patriots, but right now, I don't think that he is. Now the Giants, they just signed Jameis Winston. Are they going Shedeur? Again, I don't think so. I think Shedeur is going to fall to later in this round. And I think that they are going to take Abdul Carter. I think Abdul Carter is the pick here for the New York Giants. You pair him with Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence. It makes for a fierce D line. And it's going to be Jameis out there slinging the rock, I guess. But if Malik Neighbors goes crazy, Jameis Winston, I can't even say that they're making the playoffs, but they can win 7 games. New England Patriots. I think it has to be Ted McMillan. He's right here at the top of the board. There's a lot of Patriots writers and such that think that Will Campbell should be the pick here for the New England Patriots. As a Patriots fan, I don't rock with that at all, and I think you have to get a wide receiver for Drake May. May gets Ted McMillan. He gets that X receiver that he's been looking for, and the Patriots go Tet at pick number 4. And yeah, for the people that are in that Will Campbell camp, the Patriots do need offensive line help, but I just don't think it's going to be Will Campbell. They're looking for a tackle. They're going to take a blindside tackle. I think they can find one in round 2 or even trade back into round 1 and get that there. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars, this is interesting here. It says they need wide receiver. I don't think wide receiver is going to be what they take here, especially at pick number 5. They need a defensive interior. They need a safety, maybe a tight end. But to me, no brainer. Mason Graham should be pick number 5 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's an elite 3-tech player. Great on the interior for the defense. Him and Kenneth Grant next to each other were awesome. But Mason Graham next to Eric Armstead, next to Josh Hines-Allen, I think he could be a very disruptive force on that defensive line. Now, for the Las Vegas Raiders, some people are thinking Ashton Genty. Some people are thinking that they go with Shedeur, even after the Geno Smith trade, which I really don't see at all. And they could also use a corner. And I think this could be a case of best player available at this point. I could see Genty. I really think it could be Genty. That's my second choice for them. But I think it's going to be Will Johnson. And Will Johnson's all the way down here 13th on the board right here, but he's better than that. I mean, if it wasn't for Travis Hunter, he would be the best cornerback in this class. The Raiders need defensive help outside of Christian Wilkins, outside of Max Crosby, and Will Johnson offers that in the secondary. He's a great man-to-man corner. I think he's going to slide in as a really high-impact player and become one of those Derek Stingley types. I think him and Travis Hunter will both be all-pro level quarterbacks. Now, for the New York Jets, the Jets are in the market for a tackle, defensive interior, not a quarterback anymore. They got Justin Fields. We all know Justin Fields is going to rock out as a starter. This is where I think Will Campbell goes. Will Campbell to the New York Jets. He'll defend the left side for Justin Fields. Justin Fields has obviously had some pretty bad O-lines in his career, so Will Campbell works out. Even if he slides over to guard and becomes like an all-pro level player, you can make more sense of that for the Jets because they have Garrett Wilson at wide receiver. They think they have their quarterback figured out. They don't. But I think tackle is where they go here. And I think Josh Simmons, to me, is the best tackle in the draft out of Ohio State. But I think that Will Campbell is the highest on the board for a reason. He's the most proven. Armand Membu, they're going to move him over to the left side, maybe from right tackle. And Simmons is coming off the torn patellar tendon. Will Campbell's a proven multi-year starter on a good SEC team. He'll be the pick here to the New York Jets. Now for the Panthers, this one's a pretty no-brainer to me. They need a safety. They could use a wide receiver, but Ted McMillan's gone at this point in our mock draft. If they go to an edge, I think they're kind of reaching at this point at pick number 8. Mike Green would be worthy here if it wasn't for the character concerns that we all know he has that are playing into his draft stock. I think this is Malachi Starks here. I think Malachi Starks, Panthers need a safety. They go and get a safety, really great run-stopping tackle, or tackling safety, rather. And he's got some work to do in man coverage in the pass game, and he can get a little over-eager sometimes in coverage. But I think Malachi Starks is a great player, and he can fill a role even better than Jeremy Chin did a few years ago in Carolina. He can really fit into that defense because they need offensive help, but they also need some defensive help. I know they drafted Xavier Legette in the first round last year. Don't think they're double dipping on first-round wide receivers just yet for Bryce Young. Now for the New Orleans Saints, they need a defensive lineman, running back, a wide receiver, according to PFF, and that sounds about right. They could use some O-line help. Don't think that's where they go here, though, with pick number 9. I think that they are going to end up going on that D-line right here. You take a look around, but I think that there is going to be a trade with the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are already interested in the pick right here. I was going to go to them, but they were actually the first suggested team. So the 49ers had the 11th pick. They're going to get that 9th pick from the Saints. And they're also going to give up pick number 75. Let's see if it gets accepted here. It was. 49ers are on the clock at number 9, and they are going to take Armand Membu. Armand Membu out of Missouri. He can start off at right tackle where he's used to, where he's been at Missouri. He can have Trent Williams on that left side, but we know Trent Williams' time is coming to an end in San Francisco. He's an older player. He's only got a year or two left, even if those are both in San Francisco. And then Membu can slide over to that left side where a lot of teams really envision him as for the long stretch in his career. Now the Chicago Bears, it's Ashton Jeanty. We've seen a Ben Johnson offense with 2 running backs. I know you have DeAndre Swift there in Chicago, but you bring in Jeanty, who's maybe one of the 5 best players in this draft, just in terms of what they've done at the college level, what they present coming into the NFL. I think he's a top-tier fantasy option wherever he goes, but I think the Chicago Bears with DJ Moore, Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, they add Ashton Jeanty into the mix. They've got a completely revamped offensive interior on the O-line. That's not by coincidence. You don't go get a center and 2 new guards because you don't plan on running the ball a lot. I think Ben Johnson really wants to have a great run game. You saw what he had with Sonic and Knuckles in Detroit. Now he gets Ashton Jeanty with DeAndre Swift. That is the pick at number 10. Now it's the Saints again. I think the Saints are going to go with a D lineman here. I could see Tyler Warren, but I don't think so after they re-sign Juwan Johnson. We're going to go defensive interior and off the edge here for the New Orleans Saints. And I think it is going to be Mike Green. Mike Green is the highest on the board right here. I know he has those concerns, but I think that the Saints don't let him get away. The one other guy I could see them going with is Mykel Williams. I think it could be Mykel Williams, but I'm going to go with Mike Green here because to me, Mike Green is better. I know Mykel Williams is more of a project kind of guy that is really traits heavy in terms of his projections early in the first round. And I think that he ends up going later on in the draft. I think Mike Green goes before him, and if he doesn't, I mean, this is my mock draft. You can't tell me what to do. I need a swig of water real quick. Now it's getting really dry with all this talking. Cowboys. I would have said Ashton Jeanty if he was available. He's not right here. I think they do go wide receiver. I think they get a wide receiver, especially if they lost Brandon Cooks. It's really just CeeDee Lamb out there right now. You have an elite edge rusher. You do have an elite wide receiver, but you can pair him with another good one. You want to keep Dak Prescott happy. He's the franchise quarterback in Dallas, and I think that that's going to take us to Matthew Golden. I think they're going to keep him right in their backyard. He was at the University of Houston, then the University of Texas. I think he stays with that Texas connection. They pair him with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee can work a lot out of the slot. You're going to rule out a really favorable matchups while Matthew Golden wins on the outside with his speed, but not just his speed. He's a really great contorted catcher. He's a great body adjustment type of catch guy. And I really think that he's going to be great there. I think he'll be a great wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys staying in Texas. That's who I have going at number 12. Now for the Miami Dolphins, they could go tackle. They're not going guard here in round number 1. There's not really a guard good enough to warrant taking it 13. They could go with a DB. It's tackle or a DB. I think it's a tough one. What I think you go with Josh Simmons here. I really do. We're going to go with Josh Simmons at pick number 13. We've already seen 2 tackles taken. He'll be the third. His upside is tremendous. When you watch his tape from his last fully healthy season in 2023, he had a torn patellar tendon this year, earlier in the year for Ohio State, but the guy's a phenomenal left tackle. If he returns to form, which I think that he will, there's no reason to think that he won't with how young he is and the tools that he has and the strength he possesses. I think he'll be fine. Josh Simmons is going to Miami to protect Tua Tagovailoa, who's there for the long haul now after his deal last offseason. Now, Indianapolis Colts, this one's easy for me. They need a tight end bad. They've got wide receivers. They want to prove if Anthony Richardson is the guy or not. And if he's not, they want Daniel Jones to have the guys to throw to. I do think it'll be AR before anybody freaks out in the comments. But I'm going to go with Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren out of Penn State going to the Indianapolis Colts. Atlanta Falcons, you need an edge rusher. You got an edge rusher. This one's easy for me. I can't believe Jalen Walker is 28th here on this board. Jalen Walker projects to me as a really good NFL edge. He's kind of a hybrid guy, played a lot of Mike linebacker, played off the edge, kind of went all over the place for the Georgia Bulldogs. His strength, though, is as a pass rusher, using his strength and speed combination. I think he's going to stay right in Georgia, the same way that Matthew Golden stayed in Texas, and he's going to go to the Atlanta Falcons now with the 16th pick. Cardinals. D-line could go for a corner. I don't think it's going to be Jahdae Barron. I think that we are going to go with Kenneth Grant right here. Kenneth Grant on the interior. They just brought in Josh Sweat off the edge. They could add another presence on that D-line over in Arizona. They have Buddha in the secondary. They really need to build some corners too, so I don't think that Jahdae Barron would be a terrible pick. But I do think it's Kenneth Grant. Kenneth Grant's a monster. And honestly, I think it's a bit of a steal to get him at 16. He could easily be a top 10 talent in this class. But I've got Kenneth Grant filling up the middle in Arizona. We're halfway through round number 1 here. Bengals, they don't need a wide receiver anymore. If they had lost T. Higgins, I think they could have gone wide out here. I had a couple mock drafts early on with Luther Burden going to Cincinnati under the guise that T. Higgins did not come back. But he did. Jamar Chase and him both inking these long-term deals. I'm thinking that they need a defensive lineman here. I could see Jahad Campbell being the pick, but let's go defensive interior and off the edge here. Although, if they keep Trey Hendrickson, edge really doesn't become a need. I think Walter Nolan, I just keep hearing about this guy's character concerns the same way with Mike Green. I think he could drop, and I think he will drop past 17, so I don't think we're going to go with him. Could be Derek Harmon, but I think they go with Mykel Williams. I think they take the athletic freak. I think they take the gene potential that he has. I could have him going to Seattle too, but I think he's going where he can play on the inside and the outside in Cincinnati. They need someone like him. If they're bringing Hendrickson, that only helps him. He could still be the pick. They're not guaranteed to go linebacker if they pick Mykel Williams or just somebody on the interior. Now, for the Seattle Seahawks, not really an interior guy here to take. They've got good corners. They've got a good linebacking core. Mike McDonald, phenomenal defensive coach, and they really got what they need offensively for now, realistically, with JSN. Sam Darnold just signed. You got Cooper Kupp. I don't think they're going with any offensive skill positions necessarily here, but just to double check, yeah, Tyler Booker's not going at 18, I don't think. And we'll take a look at the edge rushers available here. I think it could be Shamar Stewart, another example of a really athletic, really freaky type of athlete. And I mean, the combine testing was phenomenal. I think he had a 9.99 RAS, and he wasn't the most effective pass rusher at Texas A&M, but you see the traits, you see the strength, you see the burst, you see the power that he has. And I think he goes at 18 to the Seattle Seahawks. That's 3 D-line guys taken in a row, 4 if you count Jalen Walker as an edge. And now we're at pick 19 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers edge, linebacker, DB. I think this is where Jahdae Barron goes. I think you saw Jaden Daniels and the Commanders really have their way with the secondary of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Carlton Davis isn't there anymore. Jamel Dean is getting old. Zion McCollum has shown some promise, but he's not a guy that you can bank on being a Christian Gonzalez type necessarily at this point in his career. And I think that it is Jahdae Barron at pick number 19 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now for the Broncos, this one's easy for me. I think they're going with a receiver, and at that point, it becomes either Luther Burden or Emeka Egbuka. I like Luther Burden more. I like his explosiveness more. I do like Emeka Egbuka. He's a reliable target. He's a good leader. He's a winner. But I think it's Luther Burden here. I think he can create a lot of matchups where he matches up well in the slot in Denver, in the Sean Payton offense. Luther Burden comes in to aid Cortland Sutton and Bo Nix and add some replenishment to that receiving group. Now for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to trade down right here because I know who they're going to pick. You're not thinking the same person as me. I doubt. They're going to trade down a decent bit. Where do we want to go here? Do we want to go to the Los Angeles Rams, pick right before your rival Baltimore Ravens? I think that's what we go with here. We're going to pick number 26. Rams are going to give up 26, pick number 90. Steelers are going to give up pick number 21. So they're going to drop down 5 here, and we're going to get the Los Angeles Rams, who are in need of a tight end or a tackle or a linebacker or a corner. Couple of needs that we have over in LA. I think we're going to take a look at some tackles, though, right here. And I think it is going to be Kelvin Banks. Kelvin Banks, 20th on the board here, average draft projection of almost 22nd, and he's going to go right here at 21 to the Los Angeles Rams. They're going to gear up on offense. Matthew Stafford entertained the idea of leaving. They don't have Cooper Kupp anymore. They do have Puka Nacua. They got Devontae Adams, some veterans on this team, and they're going to be wanting to win now, and they're going to want to protect Matthew Stafford. He took a lot of hits last year. The O-line got hurt week 1 and was bad all year long, and I think they're going to pick Banks, who's a really nice tackle out of Texas. He's a little bit unproven to me. I'm not sure how great he is yet, but I think that he's got at least he's got a high floor, I think, entering for a contending team in a window that needs help now. Los Angeles Chargers. This one is one of the easier ones to me, and maybe this is a lame pick to make. Maybe this isn't even who they go with, but I think it's Colston Loveland, Jim Harbaugh's former tight end at Michigan when they won the national championship. I think that Colston Loveland is a great tight end. You can make the argument that he's better than Tyler Warren in this class. He creates a lot of matchups. I keep talking about matchups being created by these guys, but it's true. At that wide position, at that slot receiving tight end spot, I think Colston Loveland, Jim Harbaugh, the connection, it's there. The need, it's there. I think he's a Charger at pick number 22. Now for pick number 23, we have wide receiver, edge, and corner for the Green Bay Packers. Don't think it's going to be a wide receiver. They need more defensive help than anything, in my opinion. I think you could go wide receiver. Who even is available right now? Egbuka. I don't think he's the pick. I don't think he's the pick right here. But who is, though? Wide receiver, edge, corner. Is it James Pierce? Is it Nick Skirton? I can't remember how you say that guy's name. I'm sorry if I just butchered that. I definitely Donovan Ezeriku. I think I butchered that too. But who are we going with here? This is the one I've really had to sit here and think about. Is it Egbuka, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks? Who am I forgetting here? Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson. Like, they have a good young core. None of them are a star yet. Jaden Reed, the best out of that group. But I don't like Emeka Egbuka. Is it him? Is it him, guys? I think we're going to go James Pierce here. They need a winner off the edge. James Pierce had a ton of production, especially his second to last year at Tennessee. He was being projected as the number 1 pick at one point, but there are character concerns with him. Golly, I'm sorry. My throat is, oh, God. Okay, stop it. My throat is really dry right now. I needed some water. And, yeah, James Pierce to the Packers. Some concerns there. Not sure how much I love some of his physical stuff, but he's weird because some of it's great, some of it's bad. I don't know what to think of James Pierce. I watched his tape, and I can see both conclusions. I don't know where to go with, but the Packers are going to know where to go with, and that's picking him. Minnesota Vikings. They just beefed up their defensive interior. They beefed up their offensive interior. Running back. I think that could be the need here. I don't think there's any DBs ready to take at 24. And I think it's going to be Amari and Hampton, who is 24th on this board. It works out perfectly. They did just bring back Aaron Jones, but they saw Aaron Jones get really fatigued at the end of last year. He had a really big workload. This now doesn't have to have as big of a workload. They're emulating their Detroit Lions rivals. They ended up beating them in the final game, sent them to the wild card. They have two really good running backs. Once again, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. They might be the two biggest trendsetters in this draft with the two running backs that have been selected so far. But Amari and Hampton over to Minnesota. He'll join J.J. McCarthy and that receiving core for the Vikings. Now for pick 25, wide receiver and O-line. Texans just got Cam Robinson. I don't think they'll be taking a left tackle, but will they though? Will they take somebody that could play right tackle? Are they going to take Gray Zabel, who could? They might. They don't need a D-line guy really. Don't need a D-line guy. Their defense as a whole is pretty good. I don't think they need DBs. Did they go with Tyler Booker here? No shot, right? But they got Kirk though in the slot. Yeah, I don't think they needed Buka. I thought about him for a second. We'll go Gray Zabel. I think we'll go Gray Zabel here at 25. They take him. He can start off over at right tackle, or he can play guard like some people think that he will, and he'll help on an O-line that really needs help. They were really bad last year, and they just lost their best member, signed somebody that's questionable at best. I don't know if you guys knew this was coming, but it's going to be Shedeur Sanders. The Steelers are going to close in on Aaron Rodgers. They just had him visiting. We saw it today. I think it's going to be Shedeur Sanders, and he's going to sit behind Aaron Rodgers. Those are two really strong personalities. You're going to have Prime in the mix over there in Pittsburgh now with Shedeur going there, but Steelers trade down. They can still get their guy at quarterback. I don't think the Giants are going to take him. I think the Browns are going to take him. The Giants could. I don't think the Browns are, though. I really don't. And I think he ends up in Pittsburgh Steeler, Shedeur Sanders. Baltimore Ravens. We're right here in the nitty-gritty with the contenders. Ravens could go for a guard. They got Ronnie Stanley back. They could go for an edge. They could go for a DB, but they picked a corner last year with Nate Wiggins. They've still got Marlon Humphrey in the slot balling out. They got rid of Nate Stevens or Brandon Stevens, whatever the guy's name was, 21. He was not good. Brandon Stevens, I believe. He was not good. They got Caham at a safety. Edge. I think they could go edge here, honestly. Oh, yeah. Ezuraku. Can't remember how you say his name. No disrespect, Donovan. You are a great prospect. I have watched your film, and you got great bend. There's some people that have been hating on Twitter in the draft sphere about him, but I like him. Don't really know how to pronounce the name, but I do like him as a player. I like him even more as a Baltimore Raven. He's going at 27 to Baltimore now for the Lions. They don't need a wide receiver. I don't think that's not going to be their pick, at least right here. So I'm not sure about that with Amon-Ra J-Mo. Guard. I think they take Tyler Booker. Edge and linebacker. This could be Jahad Campbell. I see him right there. Edge and linebacker. Those really seem like the two spots, unless they like Tyler Booker, but I really don't think so. Yeah, I think this is Jahad Campbell. I think they need a kind of heat-seeking linebacker. I know they've had Anzalone, but Jahad Campbell's a really good playmaker. Trust me. I think I have him in the top 15 on my big board, and if he drops here, I mean, that's a steal at 28, in my opinion. Commanders, running back, guard, edge, corner. What edges are even left at this point? What corners are left? Trey Amos is a possibility. Why am I? Oh, there it is. Nick Scorton, however you say his name. It could be him. Where's Trayvon Henderson ranked around here? He's got to be way down here. Oh, they don't like him at all on here, do they? Oh, they got him 70th on the board. That's surprising because he's definitely going in the first two rounds. Running back, guard. Could this be Tyler Booker? They had Sam Cosmi get hurt. Maxwell Harrison is a guy. Princely. I think this could be Tyler Booker, but we're going to go with Nick Scourton. They need help on the D-line. We're going right there. And now we're down to the final 3 picks here. Buffalo Bills, edge, linebacker, corner. They did just sign Joey Bosa. There's really not a whole lot of guys for them to go with. I think they could still go wide receiver. In all honesty, I know they signed Josh Palmer, but that's the biggest nothing burger. Siobhan Ravel. It's a guy. I think it could be a secondary pick. I really do. But do we like Trey Amos, Maxwell Harrison, or Siobhan Ravel? I think people are forgetting Siobhan Ravel kind of gets forgotten with the injury. But Trey Amos just feels like to me, Trey Amos feels like a Bean and McDermott pick. And I think this is who they're going to go with. Trey Amos at pick number 30. I thought about going with the Stanford receiver at 30. Don't think it's going to be him. Now, the Chiefs, they have a tackle. They have 2 guards. They still have Trey Smith for the time being. They're trying to work out a deal with him. I think they probably will be able to. D-line. I think this could be a D lineman. They just re-signed Charles Omenihu at DN. They've got Carl Lopez at DN. They've got Jones, but I think they realize Jones' clock is ticking. Omenihu's on a 1-year deal. They're really in a position to go for best available. They don't have a whole lot of glaring holes. Who's still even there at tackle? Yeah, this has got to be. I like Derek Harmon the most. I think that this has to be Derek Harmon at 31. And as a Chiefs hater, I don't love that. But, I mean, hey, they're the Chiefs. They draft well. What can I say? Eagles. Ooh. Devontae Smith. A.J. Brown. Outside wide receivers. Jahan Dotson. Didn't really do a whole lot. The Eagles are one of the best at doing best available. A few years ago, they picked a million D linemen in the draft right after they had gone to the Super Bowl with the most sacks in the entire NFL. They're going to Emeka Egbuka. Egbuka, you're not getting out of the first round here. You were a Philadelphia Eagle, and the Eagles wide receiving core gets even scarier. Let's check it out. Of course, it's not going to give us the grade. We weren't just doing one team, all their picks, but see picks 1 through 5. Ward, Hunter, Carter, McMillan, Graham. You got back-to-back Michigan teammates. You got a couple of Georgia guys between 8 and 15. Where did I even have? Oh, right. Michael Williams to Cincinnati. Okay. So 3 guys between 8 and 17 there. A couple of A&M guys here towards the back half. And all in all, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this mock draft. We're going to have more draft content, more prospect content, more free agency content coming your way here from Blitz Sports Media. Until then, I am Brady Penn, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Go subscribe to the YouTube. Go check out our website. Be on the lookout for more Blitz Sports Media content coming your way.